step by step, and this is part of the podcast I'm putting out called For the Love of It. If you want to support my work, become a patron at patreon.com. If you want to get more of these videos and be notified of the whole process of what's going on, click on the bell below. There's a little bell, or click subscribe. Just click on everything and that will help us out a lot. And what I'm doing now is I've created the actual, what I think that I want as the general form of the piece on this simple sketch here. I've created a sketch of the melody and the general harmony. So the next step, what I'm going to do in this case, is I'm going to pull out the computer and I'm going to start orchestrating this for a string orchestra plus classical guitar, and I might add some other instruments with the software instruments just to kind of experiment with different sounds. So I have to take this from just the melody and the general chordal structure and explode it part by part intricately into now a string orchestral piece. So follow me over to the computer where I do that, and that's going to take anywhere from a day, probably a day for this piece I imagine, so like a good 8 or 12 hour day, and then we'll go from there. So I spent a lot of time just really scribbling that melody out, singing it, playing it with the guitar. Here's the guitar. So probably 3 hours, and I came up with 2 themes and 2 sort of ideas. And then when I did my Strings in the Woods walk, I came up with a 3rd thematic idea that has more of movement to it. I'm also very influenced in this piece by raga music and Ravi Shankar. So a lot with, we'll have kind of a pedal note, and then there'll be a melody on top of that, really gorgeous and beautiful. Also influenced by what I've been seeing Paul McCartney on that Hulu series and what Paul McCartney had to say and just how simple his melodies were. And so I wanted to make a melody that was simple yet tell the story. So I got my melody, I got my chords, my harmonies. This is what it looks like, okay? And then I start imagining what string parts would sound like. And I started to scribble out some string parts right on here. That took me about another hour or so. And then I realized, okay, I can do that on the keyboard here a lot quicker. So I'll turn this around and show you what it looks like on the screen. So, all right, you can see that this is about 5 hours of work, just entering and experimenting with my keyboard with a synthesizer sounds. I generally like to use, I really actually prefer to use a Steinway piano sound, and then later on I'm going to replace those string parts that I've worked on here on the Finale. It's a program that allows me to score out all the parts, the violin, the viola, the cello, and the double bass. So now I'm going to actually put down the viola and the violin parts. I'm going to use the computer samples for the cello and double bass. Later I may replace those with real players, but I went to Kinko's and printed them out. At Kinko's, printing out the parts that I'm going to read and put string parts down. As you can see, here's the full score. So I got the parts here, all the individual parts. Now I have to figure out, I left a stand at home. I have to figure out what I'm going to do to make a stand here. So the next thing I'm going to do is record the parts individually. That takes a lot of time, and we'll make this piece come alive now. This is going to be fun. Here we go. All right, so I've got my little portable studio here. As you can see, here's a little interface. And I've got a stereo bar and wonderful microphones here, Neumann mics. Since I can't afford a full orchestra, I'm gonna put down the parts myself as best as I can. I forgot a music stand, so I'm gonna use this as a music stand. I'm gonna tape the music up here and overdub a lot of string parts, so it'll give it that really full sound. And the cool thing about this room is it's got great reverb. Woo! See, it's already got some natural reverb, so that's gonna really add a lot. And so, music stand, great mics, going straight to the computer down here. And here we go, let's put some parts down. All right, I finished tracking. I'm gonna go home tomorrow. Gotta mix it, it's rough, but I use this ladder as my music stand. As you can see, here's a part right here. And the place is kind of a mess. So I did all the strings. There's still a little bit left to be done. with the piece. Going home to Austin tomorrow. But if you're a patron, I'm going to upload a rough track of this for you to hear. And if you're not a patron and you want to hear it, it's easy, $5 a month. Patreon.com/Will Taylor. Finished this song. For now, it's called Bryan's Eyes for strings and guitar. And if you want to hear the rough mix of it, all you have to do is be a patron. Hope you enjoyed this process, going through and seeing what it takes to put one piece together. Started it about 3 days ago, and I still have a few more steps to go to get it final. Thanks for watching. Take care. That's all for now, folks. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, and leave a comment. Get on our show update list at StringsAttached.org. You can find out about our secret shows in Austin, Texas by texting 512-379-5934. Book us for a house concert at StringsAtYourHome.com. You can also commission an original work by texting me at 512-589-8749. Listen and share our music on all digital platforms everywhere. Just look for Will Taylor and Strings Attached. And finally, become a member of the Strings Attached patron community at patreon.com/Will Taylor.